Mhm. Yo, what's good? I didn't know it was live already, but yo, what's good? Elite live streams. We back with another one. What's good? Late night stream. We out here, man. Friday night was good with everybody out there. I wanted to hop on this stream because Currency also just dropped today. That new 7:30 album is out right now on all streaming platforms. So go get that. You know what I'm saying? Support the young spitter. But yeah, I wanted to do a review of it because, of course, you know what I'm saying. I had to put my 2 cents. I think I'm starting to have some fun with these album reviews, and there's been a lot of really good music dropping from a lot of our favorite rappers. You know what I'm saying? Currency, Kendrick, you feel me? Freddie Gibbs, Benny the Butcher, you feel me? And now Currency just dropped, man. Wiz dropped I think he dropped that new Christian orange juice. Maybe I'll do a review to that. You know what I'm saying? I haven't done one, so maybe I can. You feel me? I don't care if it's late. I'm still gonna do one because I fuck with Wiz. But yeah, salute to Currency. You know what I'm saying? He just dropped, and I wanted to do a review of that because it's a really great album. You know what I'm saying? And also kind of brought up the conversation where it made me think, is Currency the most consistent rapper of all time? And I mean that in a very like real way, because if you really look at his body of work and what he's done over time, I don't think there's another guy who's gonna do it like Currency has done it. He's been putting out nothing but consistent, okay, consistent, great albums, great mixtapes, and he's done, in volume, like where it's like, yo, he's got over, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how many projects, but the guy has just been, doing his thing, and I think he's been doing it for a really long time. He's been on the scene since the early 2000s, and he's carved out a lane for himself to become, like I said, one of the most consistent rappers in this game. All he's been dropping is just consistent, good music that is specific to his community and his fan base, and he doesn't really shy away from that. He enjoys kind of the long game, right? That marathon of just putting out music, staying consistent, and never kind of letting things just kind of fall by the wayside. And so I think from my perspective, I can look right here just on his just the accolades and how many albums he's already got out so far. It's insane, man. And so I was just wanting to kind of bring up that conversation because he just dropped this new project, and this new project is great. And so I was just thinking, like, man, is Currency one of the most consistent rappers in this game right now? Like, or is he just one of the most consistent ever? Because I don't think anyone has put out this much consistent work as he has, with this I guess this much passion, right? Since basically, I don't know, it looks like his first mixtape was in 2009, right? So since 2009, this guy has been putting out really good, solid, great music for all of us to enjoy as fans and as lovers of his craft. And of course, like him dropping this new one today was, just a cherry on top of that. So I'll bring this up real quick and we can just kind of go over the track list right here. You know what I'm saying? And kind of just enjoy, Currency and everything that he's been doing. Of course, he's got a few projects recently with Harry Fraud and also with The Alchemist. And so, I think from my perspective, I really love the fact that he's always been out there reinventing himself, doing new things, trying new things, working with different producers to, have different, vibes to each, mixtape or each project that he puts out. And of course, I think him having his own, unique style, right, when it comes to the cars and the clothes and, just kind of how he likes to live that cruise life. You know what I mean? It definitely puts you in that vibe every single time. And, he always is making references to his whips and different references to his lifestyle in Louisiana and kind of just his overall life. And I really do love the fact that on every single album we get that story, we get that authenticity, you know what I mean, from him every single time. And it's great to see him, like I said, since 2009 being on this run, right, of just putting out great quality music. This one is a 14 track, just album, and the title 730, you know what I'm saying? So July 30th, I'm not sure if maybe it's a double entendre or, how he wants to play it. But yeah, I mean, this is on all platforms right now. So we're going to start with that first one, that car talking intro, which, for me was a fire one, you know what I'm saying? Just at the top of it, you could just, it's a parade in his city and his garage, all that, you know what I'm saying? Because Currency is literally his whole life is like a Hot Wheels commercial. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but great cars, good quality cars. He has amazing taste. So of course, like he's got lowriders to muscle cars to Mercedes to Ferraris. You know what I'm saying? That's his forte. And of course, he's talking about that on this first one. Talking to his cars, car talking, or talking about cars. You feel me? Like that's just his thing. And I really love the fact in this intro, comes off with the samples. I mean, quintessential Currency style, bringing you in, getting you ready for, a really good project. And that takes you right into the tug of war, right? And tug of war for me, I really love this song because I enjoyed the lyrics. I enjoyed kind of the content, right? And a lot of the content of this one is just kind of about like, don't get in a tug of war over anyone in a relationship, right? If you're in a relationship and you're getting in a tug of war over somebody, you probably shouldn't be in that relationship. You feel me? And I totally agree. I can feel that vibe. He's always trying to talk about keeping it player. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it player. And I feel him. Sometimes in certain cases, especially in life, as men, you got to know when to, walk away. You got to know when, it's time to, not be, struggling over something that ain't necessarily worth it. Right. And so I love the fact that, Currency's always played that role of, being fly, keeping it player, and never, going outside of yourself over nothing that's not worth it. You feel me? And being in a tug of war over anyone, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be a woman or a man, is just not the vibes. You feel me? But to even go further is the beat on this song is incredible. Really, really enjoyed it. I love the fact that we could, explore kind of just, like I said, the growth of Currency. And clearly, I think Currency has one of the best beat selections in the game. And I really do think it's very underrated. And if you ever listen to any of his albums, mixtapes, whatever he puts out, it's always a very, very, legit beat. You know what I mean? Some you could ride to, some you could be in your car to, whatever your vice may be, that's what you could do it to. To Currency, man. He brings that energy. So number 3, we got When Kush Clouds Rain. You feel me? I love this one. This one, as you can see, got a heart next to it because it was a fire beat, fire song. I wish I could play it for y'all, but copyright stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying everything not to push play. But yeah, when Kush, let me see, hold on, I'm gonna put up. Yeah, When Kush Clouds Rain. I love this one. Had a good vibe to it. There was definitely some elements of like, of course, like you already know he's making references to Kush, right? Kush marijuana. And so this is one of those songs where it feels like you could actually smoke to, you could chill to, you know what I mean? Maybe have, nice drive, or just be at the crib kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's raining outside, you feel me? Them Kush clouds, you dig? Salute, you feel me? So yeah, shout out to When Kush Clouds Rain. That's one of my favorites on this one. 355 Spider, of course, is reference to a car. I think it's a Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken, but let's make sure because that's just what we do here on Elite Media. You feel me? 355 Spider, right? Hey, let's see now. Let's see what we got. Yes, sir. I was right. So it's in reference to there's the 1998 Ferrari F355 Spider. You feel me? A very beautiful, beautiful car. You know what I'm saying? A beautiful automobile that you gotta have good taste. You feel me? If you riding in something like that, you feel me? You gotta have good taste. And I think that's kind of, it's definitely I think Currency's thing. Currency is all about style. He's all about design. He's all about clean, classic vehicles. And the 355 Spider is as classic as it gets. That quintessential Ferrari style that everybody wants to roll. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's convertible. Maybe it's maybe it's the sport top, right? Where you have that sport top in the back. But I think people really, really do appreciate the fact that Currency makes, a lot of references to, not only his car, but his car's lifestyle and just kind of, how he likes to represent that, right? You know what I mean? That cruise life that he always talks about, which, I truly enjoy because it's definitely cool to see how he kind of like brings, certain things or certain looks to the table, and like he kind of makes it his own, right? And I think that's kind of what we enjoy, right? Is when he's bringing, these type of lifestyles, right? That Ferrari, you know what I'm saying? A Ferrari lifestyle where he's making references to this because this is what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He's playing he's playing Hot Wheels in real life. You feel me? And I love the fact that on this album he references that a lot. You feel me? He talks about, his journey and his collection, right? Of these beautiful automobiles, and I love the fact that we get to explore that, because Currency is one of those connoisseurs of fine automobiles and also sick rhymes. You feel me? So we get both. You know what I mean? We get both. We get the good music and we get the cool cars. You feel me? So then it goes into number 5, which is Botched Robberies. Also one of my favorites. As you can see, I starred that one as well. But yeah, man, I just feel like right now Currency is in his own bag. He's in his own lane, and he's been able to put out, consistent projects over time. And that's why for me personally, like I have never seen another rapper be this consistent. You feel me? Where he's constantly going out of his way to give to us as fans so that we can enjoy his music and be able to, live our life to it in so many different phases, right? And like I mentioned, since 2009, he's been consistently dropping mixtapes and albums, studio albums, collaboration albums, a lot of different projects all at once. And we have to appreciate that. We have to give him his flowers because that's really hard to do in the industry right now where, everyone's very selective about how much they put out and their output. And you feel me, how much they're able to give away, right? As an artist, how much work that must take, right? For an artist to constantly have to be putting out new projects and new work. You know what I mean? And I think for consistency level, Currency has got to be at the top. He's got to be one of the best to do this because the way that he's been able to not only put out great music, but then at the same time, in such a repetition, like he has not stopped since 2009, guys. That's incredible. That's an amazing run for anyone, right? And so I really do think he deserves his flowers and his credit for being able to hold up this long of a run and being, kind of so locked in, right? To being thinking about us and thinking about the fans and also thinking about his own self and his craft and growing as an artist as well, because he's also gotten better, right? His rhymes get better over time. And so it's cool to watch this, and so I go into number 6, which is Get in Line featuring Jazzy Shavers, you know what I'm saying? And listen, you know, from my perspective, like I love when things get sentimental, but they're also still like cool. You know what I'm saying? And I think Currency has a good way of being able to blend those together and making something that's, very cool and sentimental, slowed down, but also vibey and dope, and being able to, have that old school feel, because in my opinion, that's what, that's a good component of car culture, is how what music you play while you riding. You know what I'm saying? What's the playlist, right? And everybody who's had a car, who's into car culture, who understands car culture, they know that, like, hey, what are you playing? What you bumping in your car? What people are listening to while they're in your car matters. And so I think, of course, I love the fact that Currency makes music for that. He makes music for you to ride in your cars, to for you to feel cool, for you to ride down. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate that, because you can tell in the way that he produces it and the way that he puts it out. Of course, the marketing is always more so on that Hot Wheels. As you can see, kind of the artwork, lowrider culture, car club culture. You feel me? I come from car club culture, so for me, I understand what the pull up is like. You know what I'm saying? What the parking lot is like. You know what I'm saying? When everybody got their cars out there, everybody's showing off the work that they put in. Maybe somebody got a new motor or whatever the case. Everybody's in different phases when you're in the car world, right? Because you may have just got your new old school and it may take you a couple years to get it right. You feel me? But you out there, you feel me? Or you might be next to the dude who's built it from the ground up and now it's exactly how he wanted it to be. You feel me? And I love the fact that Currency has reached that point in his career where like he's now become like this this kind of like icon, right? He's an icon now in this car culture and also kind of course, in rap. You know what I'm saying? Being one of the most iconic rappers in the game. And then as well being able to kind of, take it to the next level. So I'm really enjoying, this phase of where, Currency is at in his career and also where he's been able to kind of bring it because like I said, there's a lot of music dropping over these last couple of months, y'all. Like from the beginning of 2025, man, we've had nothing but bangers and a lot of really good music. Is just following suit. You feel me? Like I said, we have Pusha, we have Benny, we have Freddie, we've had now we got Currency, we got Lupe. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of good music. Of course, Kendrick, right? We know that. But yeah, it's been incredible, man, to watch. And I'm just excited to be in this time where we're able to, as hip hop fans, be brought back to the real. You feel me? And to actually be, thinking about skills again and talking about skills again and looking at the body of work again, not just a single. You feel me? Like no, like people are putting out full length albums that we can, critique and listen to, live our lives to and enjoy. You feel me? Like because this is a part of history. Art is a part of that. Is the how you consume it and what your interpretations are once you do that, right? How it influences your mind, how it makes you feel. You know what I'm saying? That's the best part of music, right? And so we go into number 7, which is Electric Eyes featuring Harry Fraud. Him and Harry have been working together for a minute now. And I mean, of course, we love Harry because he brings that grit, you know what I'm saying, but also a fun, kind of electric sound, but it's also very sample based. So he has like a good eclectic a vibe that he creates with Harry Fraud on this one, Electric Eyes. I make sure you put a star on that one because that's also one of my favorites. But yeah, man, Electric Eyes also is one of my favorites on this one. Currency and Harry Fraud, of course, they've been doing it for a minute, and I really enjoy their collaboration and like how they work as a team. They're the shit. You feel me? So the next one we got is Currency and Fendi P. They Know It's Us. You feel me? And this is also a good one, of course. Um, Particularly don't really know who Fendi P is, but I really enjoyed what they brought to the table. And so I love the fact that, of course, on albums, I always say this, but I love that on certain albums, you're introduced to new artists or new people that you haven't really heard of. And then now you can go ahead and figure out who they are, you know what I'm saying? And deep dive into their stuff and their body's work. And yeah, I definitely am going to look into Fendi P at some point because yeah, I really enjoyed what they brought to the table, and I was really impressed with kind of the vibe that I was getting on this one. They Know It's Us, right? So now we have East Side Sharks featuring East Side Kid. That's number 9 on this one. Like I said, this is only 14 songs, but this one was a really good song as well. Let me put a star next to that one. But the East Side Sharks, it's pretty self-explanatory, but he's also kind of that vibe where you could just, mount up. You feel me? That's all I could really play because, of course, copyright. But yo, I was really feeling that one, man. A lot. And I really do have an appreciation, man, for how Currency is always putting on his people. Like whenever he has an opportunity to put on an artist that he works with, that he messes with, he always makes sure to put them on his album or his mixtape to get them that level of exposure. You know what I'm saying? And I really do love that about him because he's not one of these stingy artists who's just, gonna play it where he's only working with just big artists and all that. Like, no, like he be working with, his up and comers, people who are trying to get to that level. And I love the fact that he opens that door for them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you want to do. And you want to have that space for that. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, you know what I'm saying? What's the point? You feel me? How you're not gonna be able to, open shit up for people. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to do. So the next one was Hang Glider, number 10. Shout out to Shout out to Hang Glider, man. This was actually a really underrated song. Like towards the back end of the album, and I think like sometimes, especially with Currency, like he has a way of structuring his albums where it's almost like, you feel me, like it's just a constant ride. Not saying like all the songs they sound the same, but the cohesiveness of how he tracks everything and puts the track list together more so. Like you get a really good feel and flow. And I think a lot of albums sometimes are missing that. Some people, they just put, any songs next to each other and there's no real flow to it. But I can tell that Currency takes that time to curate his playlist to where everything flows from 1 to 14. It doesn't feel like, oh, just, a song out of nowhere, this turn up song out of nowhere. Like, no, everything is cohesive. Everything makes sense, and I love the fact that he's bringing that because that's what you want. You want a cohesive album that sounds good. It feels good. There's a flow and we can also enjoy it as we just ride or hang out. We don't have to, hit skip. We can just leave it, you know what I mean, to play in its natural state, And so I think like Hang Glider and Talking Shit, both that 10 and 11 kind of lead right into One Sunday, which let me hit that starter. One Sunday is fire. I mean, for a 1 minute song, 1 minute 23 seconds, man, I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm different like that, but like I said, One Sunday leads into Always, Always, and then the bonus cut, which is really quick. You know what I'm saying? It's a quick album, but I feel like him staying out of the drama, not creating any BS, because of course there was everyone trying to create, oh, Freddie Gibbs is talking about Currency on his new album and blah, 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 blah. And they're trying to create some situation there. But, like I said, I don't think Currency needs to beef with nobody. Like Currency literally does not care, like at all. Like he's good. He's straight. You know what I'm saying? He's living good. He's got his Hot Wheels, both toys and real life ones. You know what I'm saying? He's in his own lane. And like I said, he's been one of the most consistent rappers in the game. Never lets us down. Always gives us good music. Always puts out good projects. Always is bringing his best A game. Knows what he's doing. Be spitting that hot shit. You feel me? What else could you ask for? And so him being this consistent from my perspective, like he's one of the best out right now. And it ain't even close. You feel me? As far as like when it comes to being the most consistent, like there's not as many guys who have put out as many projects as him at the age of 44. Okay. Like you could say a lot about, a lot of rappers, 40 plus rappers, whatever. All right. Well, guess what? Currency is a 40 plus rapper and he's still out here doing it big and doing it how he want to do it. You feel me? So I really do appreciate a guy like this who's, never folded. He always stayed consistent, always made sure that he was going to do what he had to do and started from the bottom, from a back guy at No Limit, you know what I'm saying? Young Money, and then just working his way up. You feel me? Went with TK, try to see what happened with that. Went his own way, was working with Dame for a little bit. Currency been through a lot, man, and he made it out. You feel me? He made it out to be his own boss, to be controlling his own destiny, making his own money, enjoying his life. You feel me? So I just, I had to come on here and do a quick review of my boy. Make sure that, you guys make sure to like, share, subscribe. We're always going to be coming with the reviews, album reviews. We're going to be talking about that music for sure because, that's what we do over here. We're music heads. I'm a musician. We do this every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's a fun for us. It's fun to make these type of comparisons and to be able to bring this to y'all every single day. So salute to all you guys out there. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. My name is Brandon B. This is Elite Media. We on them elite live streams, baby. Salute to all y'all, man. Peace.